Looking to learn life lessons without going through the experience? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Hidden Struggles with your host, Lady C.
Hey, this is Lady C. Thank you for tuning in to Hidden Struggles. I really appreciate you hearing me out and listening to my story about why I left Jehovah for college. That's what I was being accused of when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses. All of the people that knew me growing up just kicked me to the curb, all because I woke up and started thinking. Interesting, isn't it? But you know what? Life is interesting because depending on where you're born and the belief system that you grow up with, you could end up making decisions based on bad information. And as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, that's exactly what my family did. We made decisions based on bad information. And that's the reason why I'm being accused of leaving God to seek higher education. In fact, one of our friends had the nerve to say that we left the organization, Jehovah's Witnesses, because we wanted to get involved in materialistic pursuits. He basically just trashed our character, you know? He didn't have any good thing to say about us after we left. I always knew something was wrong with them because they didn't want to do more Watchtower stuff. That's what it all boiled down to. It was like we weren't regular pioneering, which at the time we were Jehovah's Witnesses meant that you had to go knocking on doors 90 hours a month. That's right. You had to get 90 hours a month talking to people about the Jehovah's Witnesses. And so this individual felt like we should be doing that, and we weren't. And to add insult to injury, we were robbing Peter to pay Paul, living from paycheck to paycheck, didn't have a dime in the bank, no money in a 401k plan, not to mention we were working full-time jobs, and we were barely making ends meet. And the reason why that was the case is because we didn't have that education. And we were just doing regular office jobs, and my husband was doing he was a technician for a copier company. And so we weren't getting paid that much money. And not only that, but living in the DC area, the cost of living is high because everybody wants to move here. So they could charge more money for apartments and stuff than they would charge in other areas of the country. So it was very difficult for us. When we left the organization, it wasn't to pursue a college degree. Leaving the organization was all about waking up and being able to think for ourselves and to put the pieces together to realize that we were making decisions based on bad information. And the reason why I didn't go to college is because the religion known as Jehovah's Witnesses does not encourage their members to go to college. And so let me help you to appreciate and just help you to see that when you make decisions based on bad information, you're like a hamster in a wheel at the Kingdom Hall, because the constant thing that they teach you is that the end of the world is coming and you should do more Jehovah's Witness stuff. So that's knocking on doors and trying to recruit people to become Jehovah's Witnesses. And that becomes your life. Your life is built around the end of the world. And you look at your life, you start getting older, you're realizing, the end of the world is not coming. Why are they telling us to forego a college education, getting decent jobs, and just trying to save for the future? And they keep on telling you that the end of the world is near and there's no need to save. There's no need to go to school because you're not going to need those things, because I always remember these words growing up. Why would you invest anything in a world that's going out of business? And you may be sitting here thinking to yourself, Sally, my best friend from high school, Johnny, a guy I work with, they're Jehovah's Witnesses. They went to college. But guess what? They are the exception. They are not the rule. Because Jehovah's Witnesses are not encouraged to go to college. Not to mention that Jehovah's Witnesses that do go to college are not esteemed very highly within their congregation. I know a lot of people that received a lot of flack from going to college, So when you go to the Kingdom Hall and you go to their assemblies and their conventions, when you listen to their information from the platform, you will hear people giving out testimonials, which Jehovah's Witnesses actually call experiences. And basically they're telling you how they quit their job to pioneer. Pioneering is an individual that devotes a certain amount of hours to the door-to-door ministry. And they commit themselves to this work almost like a full-time job. That's what it is, So at that point, they don't work full-time jobs because they can't, because they got to get this commitment of hours in. And they talk about people and how they dumb down their living, their lifestyle. And they talk about how people, they don't pursue materialistic things and all that kind of stuff because they want to put the kingdom first. And this is what they're constantly telling people to do. So if you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you go to the Kingdom Hall, you hear these talks, and you're not doing what these other people are doing, the people that they put on display to show you, oh, this is how it's done. And this is how it's helped me in my life. And this is how I drew closer to God or Jehovah. And they're telling you all of the good experiences, how it's made their family life better, made them a happier person, made them feel more fulfilled in their lives. These are the things that they're telling you. And so they're hoping that the individuals that are listening to these individuals on the platform telling their experiences, aka testimonial, that you too will want to do the same thing. And so you have different people in congregations that form cliques, those individuals that are doing those things, and they band together and they're showing people that they're the more spiritual-minded person because, hey, look, I've chosen the better portion. Look at you. You're not pioneering. You're working a full-time job. You're doing other things. You don't show yourself to be spiritual. So they look at you, they kind of look down on you, and that's what my husband's friend was doing to us. I mean, this Jehovah's Witness thing, when I say it's off the chain, it's off the chain because there's a lot going on with it. They have their own language and system of doing things, and you have to live this life to really understand it. This video is not going to give you everything that you need to know about the group. But mainly, I'm just kind of like talking about being accused of leaving God for college because after I left this religion, I decided to go to college. Not only that, but this video is also addressing an issue that I talked about in my previous video, Take This Job and Shove It. And in that video, I talked about my father having a career in meteorology. And there was a guy that saw my comment on Facebook, and he said he didn't believe me, but you got to live this experience to know and understand it. It sounds crazy, and no one can even understand it. They can't understand how my dad could have a career in meteorology, but he did not encourage me to go to college. And one of the reasons why he didn't encourage me to go to college is because he too bought into the Jehovah's Witness dogma. He believed it as well. Ask any former Jehovah's Witness about going to college and why they didn't go to college, and they'll probably have a similar story as to why they didn't go to college either. And I know my father was like telling me, he goes, I cannot believe I got caught up in the beliefs of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And we talk about it all the time. But when everyone around you is doing this and you feel like you're being left out, and even his childhood friend that he connected with some years later was a Jehovah's Witness elder. We were living around all of my mother's family. Everyone was getting baptized. Cousins, uncles, everyone was becoming elders, ministerial servants. And my dad was just feeling like he was just being left out. And so for him, it was like he had to join or he was going to be over here by himself. So he felt left out. And then when I met my husband, he was a Bethelite, served at the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, and he felt like he was going to lose the relationship he had with me, and he wanted to have more, he wanted to be more a part of my life, and so he felt like he was going to lose that. And so that's why he got involved with the group. It's just a sad situation. So, I look at this situation with being a Jehovah's Witness. After leaving, I feel like I think more. It's like when I have friends that tell me about a product or service and they want to be a testimonial and tell me all these people are doing it and this is why I should jump on board and get involved and do something without vetting the process, I don't do that anymore. And mind you, my involvement with Jehovah's Witnesses happened when I was a kid. My mother is the one that became involved with this group of people because she learned about this group herself when she was a kid. And my brother had gotten hit and killed by a driver that had been racing up and down the road. And my mother was so devastated. And she remembered this group known as Jehovah's Witnesses. And they had made these promises of resurrection here on the earth, where you could see your deceased loved ones again and be reunited at some point. And so Mom, she reached back to that group of people that gave her those promises that she remembered hearing about growing up as a kid. And that's how my mother got involved with this religion. And so this is all I've ever known is Jehovah's Witnesses. Mom had been studying with them as far back as I can remember. And it just seemed all normal to me. And as I said before, the people that I know that say, join this group, buy this product, this service, whatever, based on a testimonial from somebody else, I think twice. Because I've already been involved in a religion or a group of people, I should say, that got me to listen to testimonials and believe in what they had to say. Unfortunately, we didn't have the internet when I was growing up. We couldn't Google information about Jehovah's Witnesses. We didn't have that luxury to do that like most people have today. There's a growing number of people on the internet that are finding each other. They're learning what we call the truth about the truth. Why do we say the truth about the truth? Because Jehovah's Witnesses believe that they are the only true religion and they have the truth. And so when they talk about the truth and someone will say, is this person a Jehovah's Witness? No, they'll say, is this person in the truth? And so as former Jehovah's Witnesses, we often refer to it as being the truth about the truth, learning the truth about the truth. And so, no, it's not like I don't go on, Amazon.com and read reviews about products and services, because I still do that. But think about it. When a person goes and reviews a product or service on Amazon, they don't have to lie. They can tell the truth. They don't have to make up stories and make it fit the narrative, because they're not going to lose anything. A Jehovah's Witness that would stand and tell you the truth about this religion, especially when they know that there's some things wrong about the teachings, they can't be honest and open about it. And the reason why is because they stand to lose everything. They stand to lose their family, their friends, possibly their employment if they work for a Jehovah's Witness, and even their place where they live at. They can lose it all. I've talked to people all over the world. They either lost their family, their friends, their homes, their place of employment, everything. All because they stood up and said, I don't believe this religion anymore. I don't want to follow the teachings of this religion. And they were shunned. They were disfellowshipped, excommunicated, cut off from everyone they've ever known. And just for me leaving, because I wake up and say, look, I don't believe this teachings anymore. And I realized that I was making decisions based on bad information. I can no longer do that. And so now I'm being shunned by people I've known all my life and family that won't have anything to do with me because they think I'm this evil, mean apostate. When everyone knows that apostate, when you look it up in the dictionary, the definition of apostate is a person that actually just deviates from something that they used to believe in. And yet Jehovah's Witnesses, when they call you an apostate, they term it as an evil slave, an evil person that is just doomed for destruction, all because they left the group known as Jehovah's Witnesses. When we finally realized that, we got our first computer, we went on the internet, we did our research. This is me and my husband. I'm talking about me and my husband. And we began to put two and two together. There was always things about the religion that we thought was wrong. We always realized that there were things that just were not adding up. And it was just difficult putting the pieces together because we didn't have all the information that we needed, because everything that we got was being supplied through the organization. And it wasn't until we got our first computer and began to do research online. And here you are in the comfort of your own home, so no one can look behind your shoulder and see what you're reading, because Jehovah's Witnesses are highly discouraged from reading anything that's not published by the Watchtower Bible and the Tract Society. Now let me clarify what I'm saying. You can read books, but they don't encourage you to read religious material that's not published by Jehovah's Witnesses. So if there's a previous member that used to be a Jehovah's Witness, like Raymond Franz, who wrote the book Crisis of Conscience, if you are known to be reading a book like that, you will be swiftly excommunicated, because that's a no-no. That means you're going against the organization and accused of being apostate. And if you tell other people about it, then you're also being accused of spreading apostate propaganda. It gets pretty deep, this religion. And that's why a lot of people look at this religion as being a cult, So, so these are the things that we're talking about. We're looking at our lives, my husband and I, we're getting older. We're looking at the teachings that are changing. And we're saying to ourselves, something's not right about these teachings that are changing. And so Hidden Struggles is going to be all about my experiences in college, career, and even, just life in general, and how I had to put the pieces of my life back together, and what it took, and how I learned lessons along the way. And so this platform is geared towards helping you, if you are a witness, and you don't have to be a Jehovah's Witness or a former Jehovah's Witness, to take advantage of the information I'm going to share on this channel. Anyone can find themselves in a situation where they made decisions based on bad information, and this channel can help you to see how you can right those wrongs. This has been Lady C. Thank you so much for being in my audience.
Thanks so much for listening to Hidden Struggles with your host, Lady C. This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers, online at hiddenstruggle.com. Have a question for your host of Hidden Struggles, Lady C? Email info@hiddenstruggle.com.